Once again, I'm going to demonstrate node failure in a RAC cluster. So I begin with two connections explicitly connected to each node of the cluster. So this is Hemant connecting to instance RAC 1 on node 1, and this is a connection to instance RAC 2 on node 2. Now I'm going to connect, just reconnect my HR user. Okay, so my HR user connecting to RAC scan 1 is connected to IP address 115. Remember, RAC provides 3 scan IP addresses, and your DNS would round robin between the three to dynamically allocate any one of the three to end user. But here I'm explicitly connecting to two different IP addresses, 115 in the first case. So I'll just connect here. Sorry, connect it from here. And then the second one is going to connect to IP address 116. So I just verify that I have these two connections. I'm on node 1, so $$ session and $$ instance are local to node 1. So I can see HR is connected at 11:32:04 here on node 1, and from here I can see on node 2 11:32:15. So this is the first connection at node 1. This is the second connection at node 2, because these two RAC scan IP addresses are currently allocated to the two different nodes. A two node cluster, so the three scan IP addresses will be dynamically allocated amongst the two nodes. So in this case, scan 1 115 is running on node 1, and scan 2 116 is running on node 2. Okay, so I'll just create a transaction also here. This is a DDL statement, so the DDL statement is executed and committed immediately. Then I'm just going to truncate the table again. Okay, what I'm going to do is delete the table. What I'm doing here now is creating a lot of redo and undo. So I have a delete statement followed by an insert statement. So this is 133,000 rows deleted and inserted but not yet committed. So these are my alert logs. This is an alert log on node 1, you can see that, and these are the messages. These messages started up when node 2 joined the cluster. I could tail the alert log here, but there's not much information here. Okay, so this is okay. This is the resize because I was adding data to the table space in my objects list tab, so the data file got resized. The resize happened from node 2, remember, but it is a shared storage, so the resized data file will also be accessible from node 2, node 1, sorry. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate failure of node 2, but before that I verify that both my connections are working. Let's do a count star. So remember, I have two connections, HR on node 1, and I can run this query again, and HR on node 2, but I have not committed these delete and insert statements. Now I'm going to simulate failure of node 2 with the kill from the root. So let's just look at the alert log on node 1 when this happens. So node 2 is going down abnormally. If I were to try to run this query again on node 2, you can see my SQL developer session got disconnected. It says no more data to read from socket. And let me go back to the alert log on node 1. It's going to detect that node 2 has gone down, and it's going to show messages about the failure of node 2 and the redo apply of all the redo and undo that was generated on node 2. Remember that there's a lot of redo and undo because of these delete and insert statements. So in this case, I'll just pause this. Okay, you can see this is just, it's going to this is all the standard statistics gathering job that's still running, but let me just view the alert log. So let's scroll back. Okay, so this is when the instance was up and I had opened the PDB on node 1, and this is when node 2 joined the cluster. So it's okay, the cluster consists of two instances, 1 and 2. The new there's one new instance, that is no instance number 2, but I am instance 1. Remember, this is node 1 is instance 1 here. So this is all when node 2 was started up. Now what happens when node 2 got shut down? So this is all node 2, that is instance 2 was joining the cluster. Okay, so that's okay. Then I just keep scrolling down. Okay, then this again is registering its SID with the listener. Okay, now at this point, this is all 11:26, and then 11:37 started saying, okay, there's a change, reconfiguration of the cluster. The cluster's got a new incarnation. So every time there's a reconfiguration, there's an incarnation ID for the cluster. So okay, there's only one instance in the cluster. Instance number 2 is down. There is one instance here. It says one instance went down, and that instance was instance number 2. I am still instance number 1. Okay, so then instance number 1 freezes all the global resources, because all resources in the database are managed globally between the two instances. So this is all global resource directory is frozen. It's doing a dead instance detection, and then let me just scroll down here further. These are all messages. Says okay, now instance recovery is starting. Remember, when an instance goes down abnormally, and if it has to start up, it'll do an instance recovery by itself. If it is not a RAC instance. If it is a RAC instance, the surviving node will do the instance recovery for it. So here's where we're going to start seeing messages about the listener and the instance recovery. So it's doing instance recovery. Scroll down, and there's a lot of redo. So here you can see there's a lot of redo to be executed, because I had done inserts and deletes here. You can see these inserts and deletes. So it's redo to be done, and then undo to be done. So it's recovering from the online redo log of thread 2. Instance 2 on node 2 is called thread 2. First instance is always thread 1, second instance is thread 2. So it's recovering from the online redo log of thread 2. And the online redo log has 2 members, so that's fine. And actually the recovery spanned not just one redo log, or 2, the sequence 4 and sequence 5. There's 2 redo logs that have to be read for the instance recovery. So this is one thing you should always note. It is possible that instance recovery might need to read more than just the last online redo log. Okay, In this case instance recovery was actually reading sequence 4 and sequence 5. Here you can see instance recovery is completed. 22 megabytes of redo was done, and 1731 data blocks read, 3207 data blocks rewritten as part of instance recovery. So this is the instance recovery that has done. First thing it does is it detects that node 2 has gone down. Then it freezes the global resource directory, and then it does instance recovery of for node 2. Sorry. So this is the instance recovery messages for node 2 here. You can keep scrolling down, and all the instance recovery is done. So if I were to query here, I would see the table because I already populated the table from node 2. So I can see the table from node 1. Okay, because these 60,000 rows were created initially, but all these deletes and inserts were rolled back, and that is what we see in this redo apply. Okay, so that's for the instance recovery.